or it can crash the water, my friend, like that.
Hello, and welcome to Fuck Your Feelings, the show where people say what they think. This is not a safe space for freedom of speech. You need to hear views outside of your own bubble. If you get offended, good. Think you just might learn something. We are here to offend and trigger those who can be, and have an enlightened, intelligent discussion for the rest of you who aren't afraid of having an open mind. We give a platform to all speech. You should hear it all. It's said that sunlight is the best disinfectant. We are a free marketplace of ideas. If you were triggered, see a firing squad.
The feeling most people get when they hear Barack Obama speak, right, I felt this curl going up my leg. I mean, I don't have that too often. Steady. No, seriously, it's a dramatic event. He speaks about America in a way that has nothing to do with politics. It has to do with the feeling we have about our country. And that is an objective assessment.
Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
He's been slashing our armed forces, won't commit to 2%, is happy for us not to be able to defend our islands. I think Mr. Juncker's given us the answer. We're going to do it at an EU level. We're going to have a European army. Now, when I raised this last year with the Deputy Prime Minister, Liberal Democrat Nick Clegg, he said it was a dangerous fantasy to even talk about an EU army. I hope every Liberal Democrat voter has heard Mr. Verhofstadt today, the leader of the European Liberals, crying out for militarisation at an EU level. And Mr. Verhofstadt, I know that by heckling you increase your hits on YouTube, because otherwise nobody in Europe wants to listen to you.
So Mr. Tannock, I understand what you're saying. I understand something ghastly has happened here. But before you take military action, you need to be certain you're going to make things better and not worse.
Well, I'm afraid what we got was you. And I'm sorry, but after that performance earlier that you gave, and I don't want to be rude, but you know, really, you have the charisma of a damp rag and the appearance of a low-grade bank clerk. You appear to have a loathing for the very concept of the existence of nation-states. Perhaps that's because you come from Belgium, which of course is pretty much a non-country. I have to ask you, having listened to your words this morning, just what planet are you on? This pretense that everything's going incredibly well. The EU is mired in deep structural crisis. You say the EU is fantastic in a recent comment. You're supporting the destruction of national democracy. But it's with reference to Greece that I'm most concerned about you, because when faced with their recent enslavement, you said, we lived for many years as a non-sovereign country under Soviet occupation. For us, European integration is not a threat to sovereignty, because we experienced not long ago a serious threat to our sovereignty. So what are you saying? That this isn't quite as bad as the USSR? Is that really good enough for your people? At the time, post-1945, there were some very sensible ideas put together, namely the Council of Europe. Let's have a Europe where we sit down together, where we have a free trade agreement, where we agree minimum standards on work, on the environment. We can do all of these things without a European Commission, without a European Parliament, and without the European Court of Justice. We've done it in security terms with NATO. Yes, it'll mean you'll lose your job, Mr. Barroso. But apart from that, why can't we do things as mature democracies? Yes, I want you sacked, Mr. Schultz, as well. I want you all fired. We can do those things, and that is a positive way forward. By taking away from people their ability to govern themselves and transferring that power to the European Commission, we're heading for a Europe of rebellion and violence. Let's take the democratic route.
Until we get the full report and we get the intelligence right. We went to war in Iraq. Being told that Saddam had weapons of... Why don't you shut up and listen for a change? You really must be the vilest, rudest man in European politics. And you rant on, and the chair lets you get away with it because you're the former Prime Minister of Belgium. Well, there we are.
The point I was making is this. The opportunity is being seized, and Mr. Juncker said we must convey to Russia that we are serious. Who do you think you are kidding, Mr. Juncker? We do not want any part of an EU army, and I doubt the rest of the peoples of Europe do either. Thank you.
know, I know a lot of us had some problems. But the problems some of you think you have aren't the real problems. I'll explain. See, a lot of you have been living in an alternate reality of mainly just fear and I don't know if you see the big picture of everything. See, December or November of 2019, because I had just moved to Arizona, going to the bar, hanging out, looking stuff up, and I start posting pictures or videos and telling people not to watch them because it's from China, and how they would string up dogs and basically skin them and slaughter them alive. And then some videos started coming of them dragging people away in the streets. And so I started looking into it, and more, because it had a lot to do with around protests in like Hong Kong. People fighting for their freedom from China. You know, the CCP, Marxism. Kind of like how we're fighting against Marxism here in America, but I'll digress. See, none of it really added up. They were hauling people away and everything, and then all of a sudden it was in like Wuhan. People started coming out and saying from China they were being silenced, but were saying that this came from a lab. And then we found out about it here in America and other countries. Well, everybody started calling it the Chinese virus. Well, because it came from China. And when it maybe should have probably been called the Chinese Communist Party virus. And people just short said the Chinese virus. But then the minute Trump says it, it's all of a sudden racist. Even though it was still true. Well, way before, I don't know when he said it. What was it? February, March or something, when he actually said it came from the lab. I was posting videos, which you probably can't find on my timeline. I haven't deleted anything, but Facebook likes to. Because those are misleading or misinformation. You know, like the White House is trying to stop misinformation that now they say is a very real possibility. But if you were paying attention at all, you knew that in November, December of, or at least in January or February, before Trump did the travel ban, which he was called racist for, and then he didn't do enough. Not that I know he's a shitbag, but look at what's in the White House now. A KKK pupil who just 2 months ago or so sexualized a little 9-year-old girl. But, you know, let's not look at that. But see, a lot of you aren't even questioning or saying anything about China and their involvement. Because the real question that I had then, in November, December of 2019, which is almost 2 years ago now, was it intentional? Or, because it, as I pointed out then, and I got from the people in China before they were silenced and disappeared, from a bioweapons lab, virology lab, to develop the gain of what we know it is gain of function. And they allowed people to travel to Europe and every other part of the world after it was known that this was out. But they didn't allow them to travel to other parts of China. And then they quickly said, hey, it came from a bat, from a wet market. Well, it did come from a bat. It was then in a lab. And then it was engineered to be more transmissible to humans. And we've gone from that. And I told you all that we were going to have these passports. They were going to try to force us to get vaccines. And now I see even some of you dipshits that are on my friends list actually advocating for this shit. Or at least posting articles that are advocating for this shit. A lot of you I thought I knew. But it turns out you don't know shit. You're a total conformist. And you're willing, and I don't give a shit. Republicans, Democrats, a lot of you are all the same. That as long as that R or that D is next to it, you're willing to just buy the shit. Yeah, his shirt says Trump or die. You think I believe him? You think when he said the people should get the vaccine, I said, what the fuck is wrong with you? There was a lot of times when I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Because I don't look at these politicians or any of it. This is to trigger people. To be a troll. To piss people off. Why? Because I'm pissed off. Because you know, some of you are actually advocating that I have to get the vaccine or that other people have to. And you're going to say this is a conspiracy theory, but you know, just like with the flu vaccine, I haven't had the flu in like more than a quarter of a century, and the last time I had it was in high school when I was in a cesspool. And I don't have the proof, but it doesn't take a genius to figure it out that I got it right after a bunch of y'all got your vaccines. Your flu vaccines. I'm a flu fighter. I mean, you're a fucking dumb shit. I have an immune system. You want to take that shit? Oh, you're not going to be spreading the shit. And who's the ones that are scared? You. People that got the vaccine, a lot of y'all are fucking scared. Because people like me don't. I haven't got it. I haven't got any vaccine my whole life. I have an immune system. I'm sorry that some of y'all don't have a fucking immune system. And maybe you should ask your parents why you've been being injected with shit your whole life. They're injecting babies with it before their even system develops. Why are we giving... Shouldn't parents be questioning everything that goes into their kids' bodies? Why necessarily do they need all these vaccines? And shouldn't it be their choice? Shouldn't you be questioning? Those are your fucking kids, right? Thank God I don't have any. Because usually only the stupid people are having them. I'm an anti-vaxxer. No, I haven't been to a country, been out where I would have needed one. Where there's something that my immune system probably couldn't handle and that I would need to get it. Because that's what and proven over decades. And then do the research, make sure these pharmaceuticals don't put shit in them. Like mercury and all kinds of other shit. Like I smoke unfiltered. I make sure my tobacco doesn't have all the arsenic and shit. Oh, I know. The nicotine, the tobacco's not good for me. But why should I want to get cigarettes that got arsenic and rat poison and all kinds of other shit? They're doing the same with weed. You're going to be putting all kinds of shit because the big companies are going to be manufacturing it. And it's funny how much a lot of you just trust the the medical industrial complex. You see all the commercials of lawsuits, the opioid epidemic, all this shit is because the FDA is bought off. And you all know this shit, but choose to ignore it. And you'll trust, if it's an R saying it, or if it's a D saying it. Well, I'm neither. And truthfully, just because I'm a libertarian doesn't really mean I even trust that party. I'm more of a constitutional anarchist. And see, most of you don't even know what that fucking means. The Constitution, probably don't even... And much less what actual anarchy or an anarchist is. It's what this country was founded on, self-governance. And without authority. The only authority those motherfuckers in Washington or any of them have is because you give them to them. I don't. They have no authority. When I go to work, my boss? He has as much authority as I give him. If I don't want him to have the authority, I go get another job. I go work somewhere else. Which a lot of you are making it even hard to even do that. Because I'm actually lucky enough to have an employer that isn't forcing me to get vaccinated or forcing me to wear a mask. One of those face diapers all you fucking idiots wear. I fucking swear you're a bunch of fucking morons. This whole nation has become retarded. And look up that word. If you think it's something else, you're a bigot. It means going backwards. Being held back. Being dumbed down. You don't even know the meaning of words anymore. How about fascism? You know what that means? According to Mussolini, who one of the him and one other guy wrote it, the book on fascism. He said it should have been called corporatism, is what it properly named. And after the election, if you believe that Biden actually won, Time magazine describes how that big government, mostly just everybody that hates Trump, which is the entire Democratic Party, and a lot of Republicans, use the power of the government with big tech, multinational corporations, which basically means most of the news media. Even on election day, Fox News took off Dana Perino, who was going to talk about how all this fraud that she was hearing about and everything, and they took her off so nobody would know. On election day, they didn't even, I bring in, like I've done every year when I lived in California, I bring in my mail-in ballot, the absentee, not these mass ones they send out to everybody, but I specifically sign up for it so I can sit and fill it out on my own. But when I go down there, I expect them to make sure it's me fucking handing it off. Look at my ID. Look at my signature on it and sign so that they know it's me. Not some ballot I just picked up. And then I could have got a few things of mail and been able to forge somebody's signature. And I realized here in Maricopa County, they didn't even give a fuck. And I had no idea what any results, well, no, nothing. It was early on election day. And you want to talk about voter integrity? I didn't feel like my vote was going to count. They didn't even give a shit whether it was me. Back to Time magazine. They colluded with big tech, big corporations, the government, and corporations and the media. And by definition, Mussolini would have said it should properly be called corporatism. But y'all know it as fascism. And it's the exact same thing they are doing with the vaccine. Rolling it out. The government is paid off. And this probably is a big payoff. Most of this is probably a big payoff. A bailout, if you will, of the pharmaceuticals. I mean, just before we heard that the pharmaceuticals, like Johnson & Johnson, being sued for their talcum powder that gave women ovarian cancer. And they got a bunch of other, like, you see them all the time. They're losing billions. They needed a payoff, just like the banks did under Bush and Obama. And where did all your stimulus money go? Trillions of dollars, and there's what? Less than 400 million people in America? Citizens? How many times does 400 million even go into 5 trillion? Huh? And yeah, even you Trump supporters, look at that, what he signed. And all you Republicans too. Any of them that signed on to it. And you got what? Change? And fear? Stay in your home. Lose your business. Oh yeah, let's inject you with poison. And then we're going to get your neighbors to turn you in. Your friends. Well, you're not my friends if you're doing that shit. You're not my friend if you want me to be injected with poison because you're scared. Because you're a little bitch that's scared. Life is scary. There's lots of shit out there that'll kill you. Oh, we're all in this together. Yeah, we're all in just submitting to the government. Oh, bend the fuck over, huh? Why don't you? I've been living my life laughing at y'all. Wearing your masks. Oh, you don't believe it's real? Yeah, a lot of shit's real. But the numbers, everything, what, it's a little worse than the flu? If they did this with the flu, with pretty much anything, and said it was, they say it's COVID related. Well, a coronavirus related, all you would have to do is somebody with a cold or the flu that died. But they died of many other things, like people in motorcycle accidents, people with cancer. And you add all those in, but they don't say it's the major factor. Y'all being played. And you know it. You fucking know it. But it's easier to fool someone. Easier to fool someone than it is to convince them that they've been fooled. I fucking question everything. And because I question everything is why I've never been a Republican or a Democrat. Lesser of two evils. Yeah. You guys are all retarded. Frankly, I don't care if you all get off my friends list. Because if you don't understand what the fuck's going on out there, how governments around the world and everything are just trying to put us all in fucking bondage. But no, let's argue. Oh, you're white, you're black, you're this, you're that, you're that. Let's put us all into these different fucking categories. You can put me in none. Or just one, me. Me. You can all be in whatever category and you're whatever, what is that called? Intersectionality, where you're this, I'm an individual because, no, you're not, you're just putting yourself in a fucking box. So whatever you happen to be, yeah, be proud of all the different things that makes you you. But if you let any of them fucking define you, that's who you are, in this box. You're not an individual. You're a category. You can put me in a category of fucking being prejudiced and racist against one race, the human race. Most of y'all just disgust the fuck out of me. With few exceptions. I try to go out and give people the benefit of the doubt. Get to know them. But most of the time, y'all just fucking, in the end, disappoint me by being... You're the reason I go out and I can't help myself just making barnyard animal noises all the time. Because you make me fucking sick. And if you don't see that, you think all this is normal? You fucking idiots. You want to discuss different things? You want to get into different stuff? Have a discussion. But you're going to try to shame me into apologizing for this or that like you do with everything? And yeah, you Christians, Republicans, the right, you did this same shit in like the 80s and 90s. And all of y'all get on like your high horse when it's the other side doing it. And y'all wonder why nobody comes to your side or takes you seriously. Because you want to force people into things. I don't give a fuck what the rest of you do. Whether I agree with it or not. If you're not harming people, whatever. What the fuck? You have to have my approval? Fuck you. I'm not into any of these games. I'm not apologizing for being mean. I'm not apologizing for saying the truth of what I see. And when people all around me see a false reality, I'm going to call you out for it. You want to send people to my door and other people's door for not getting the vaccine? You're sending people out to commit suicide? Because tell them that's what they're doing. Maybe not in California because you're all bent over and submitted anyways to whatever the mob says. All you have to do is get enough people in the streets and everybody will bend to whatever they... Try that shit. That's why they don't like states that actually go by the Constitution, that have open carry, stand your ground. You try coming to Arizona and forcing people en masse to do stuff. Go to people's doors. And take your racist, bigoted preconceptions with you too. Only figure that the white people have guns. We all do. We all do. It doesn't matter. Little old lady, no matter what race, ethnicity, probably has a gun. Kids know how to shoot guns. Because that's what gun control is. Learning how to control it. To be comfortable with it. So you don't accidentally do shit. And when it comes to guns, you don't even want to talk about it. Mental health. And then what you help mental health by what? Letting these drug dealers, doctors, fill your kids with drugs and throw off their whole chemical balance and fuck them all up in the head. And then you wonder why they go out and shoot people or commit atrocities. You're breeding it. You're a part of it. And you're going to blame an inanimate object? I swear the world is just full of dumb shits. And you're probably one of them.